25truth.com if you want to read the truth about Project 2025. I'm older than you are, Kevin Roberts, and therefore I've heard the cliche more often, the most important election of our lifetime. And I really think this is 1980 style stakes. I think it will be a disaster if Kamala Harris is president. The people that she's surrounded with, the stuff she doesn't know, the things she thinks she knows, her lack of skill, just an utter disaster. How do you view this election?
Look, I view it not even as a policy leader, which I am, but as an early American historian. So with a long view, and I, like you, have heard this comment, the most important election in our lifetime. It is for me. I'm 50 years old. This is the most important election I know in my lifetime. And even if we didn't have this interesting characterization of the two major candidates, so in other words, put the personalities off to the side, everything is at stake in 2024. I actually think the American Republic is teetering on the balance. I'm optimistic about the future. I want to be really clear about that. And we don't do this false alarmism in Heritage, but I think everything is at stake. When I was growing up, Hugh, the left was not a dangerous ideology. It certainly was an ideology I disagreed with because of its statism and fondness for centralized power. But right now, they're doing everything from centralizing power to violating free speech for those of us on the right, to redefining what it is to be a boy or a girl. Everything is at stake. And therefore, I think speaking ideologically from the top of the ticket all the way down to the bottom of the ticket for school board races, for city council races, Americans really need to be dialed into the issues to help them understand how they ought to be voting this fall.
This is why I love the Heritage Foundation. People should go to heritage.org and become a contributor, become a supporter, become a member. I want to close with this. You and I share a common faith. We're both Roman Catholic. I am greatly worried that if they expand the Supreme Court and they pack the court, which is in some views statutorily acceptable, that our fundamental right to practice our religion as we see fit will be impaired. Do you share that fear, Kevin Roberts?
100%. The fear of losing our religious liberty is real. We have legitimate reasons to be concerned. You know that I fought the Obama administration when I was president of Wyoming Catholic College purely on religious liberty grounds, and we won twice. And that was now 10 years ago. And you think about what most people on the radical left believe, and it is that you and I, or our Jewish brothers and sisters, or other Christians, in addition to us, can't worship publicly. We can't even speak about religion publicly. We can't run religious institutions according to the tenets of our respective faiths. That is something that at Heritage we care so deeply about, that if, God forbid, we go down that road, we will fight tooth and nail and spend every cent to our institution's name to fight it. Because if we lose religious liberty, Hugh, then we lose every other right. And it's incumbent upon us to convince our friends who maybe aren't as religious as you and me that even though they may not go to church or share our faith, that they ought to defend religious liberty as much as you and I would be willing to do so.
I agree wholeheartedly, and I believe the Constitution is very strong, but it can also be broken, and I believe this is the administration that would break it. Kevin Roberts, thank you for joining me. You're doing a magnificent job as president of the Heritage Foundation. It's back in the game. It matters again. Heritage.org, or go to 25truth.com, heritage.org.